Nini everyone, Zabora here. So this is going to be a little bit of a rant just because I've seen some pretty funny things, and by funny I mean stupid. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that they're stupid. Mainly because of the facts that people get that are so wrong. They're never facts. They just make claims. But I know that I do have some visually impaired people that like to watch my YouTube, and I know that there's few people that want to just, put on YouTube in the background and listen to their favorite YouTubers like scream and rant and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and just read the screenshots and stuff for you guys. So this one here, this first one was somebody who had posted. I don't want to say any names. I've removed all the names. They had posted in a group on Facebook about how they were interested in tarot, or you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. So, what's the point of asking for a full name, pictures, or date of birth before a reading? Explain to me how and why can anybody give me a better reading with that much information? The people I have met have done a great job without it. They just let the cards speak for themselves. Okay, so that's all well and good. People have different styles of reading. If I ask for your name, your birth date, and all of that jazz, I'm trying to attune to your energies and not just some random generic sun sign that you may or may not have any correlation to. Because a big problem that I have with astrology is a lot of that stuff is so vague that it doesn't actually give you an accurate interpretation of who you are as a person. So that's personally why I try to connect with the person's energy, whether it be through the internet or on the phone or whatever. That's the reason I do it that way. So if you have a problem with that, totally fine. Don't give me your information. You don't have to come to me for a reading. Now, they then posted, same person posted again, and this time they posted this. There are those who are amazing readers, talented of course, and there are those that should never in their lives pick up a box of tarot cards. I honestly feel that when people ask for our dates of birth, it's to either find out our zodiac signs and tell us what already exists online about us, though in their own fixed and prepared ways. A cheat code. The cards sometimes tell us valuable information. Not everyone who reads knows how to read the card properly. Hashtag here for feedback. Okay, so this is the same person. Number one, this person is not a reader, and they're telling other readers how they should and shouldn't read their tarot cards. This is specifically related to tarot cards. What? You what? You're telling other people how they should and shouldn't practice tarot when you yourself do not read? Are you kidding me? And this was after multiple people had commented on this one about what's the point of asking for a full name. And they told them, like, look, this is why people do the things that they do. Including myself. I'm like, yeah, I do that all the time, but that's because I'm connecting to you, the individual, and not, just reading some random cards that may actually be in relation to me. I'm trying to connect to you. So, number one, they said that some people should never pick up a deck of cards. And that's horseshit. Anybody can read the cards. The tarot has fixed meanings, okay? The Three of Swords, you're not going to look at the Three of Swords and one day be like, oh, this means you're going to fall in love. No, that's not what the fucking Three of Swords means, okay? No matter what Rider-Waite-Smith deck you pick up, those cards have the same repeated symbols. At least they should if they're going to be considered a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, okay? Like, look at the Magician. You see the infinity sign over his head? You see the four tools of the Magi? Those should be on every magician card, no matter whatever else artistic rendering the person creating the images has used, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is they think that they're going to be scammed when they're giving out their personal information, that they're not actually going to get a reading. They're just going to get someone looking up their astrology sign and telling them what it says there. Well, I don't do that. Number one. Number two, I don't charge for my reading, so I have no reason to lie. How many of you guys have gotten readings from me? How many times have I ever charged you? Never. Not once have I ever charged anyone a fucking cent for my readings. Just because I enjoy reading for people, and I have no reason to lie. So I'm not going to sit there and look up your fucking date of birth, figure out what kind of star sign or what kind of sun sign you have, and then try to give you some de facto reading from it, okay? It's much easier for me to grab my cards, pull a card, and give you a reading that way than it is for me to go and Google your information. I'm just lazy like that, I guess. So, that's just how I feel about that. Don't sit there and tell other readers how to read when you yourself don't read and don't understand what they're going through. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've been reading tarot for longer than I've been a witch, okay? Just understand that. So, fuck you. The second thing or the third thing that I kind of have a problem with is not everyone who are readers know how to read the cards properly. First of all, if you're a reader, you're a reader. Just because you don't use traditional meetings or a traditional deck or whatever doesn't mean you're not a reader. If you have accurate results with your reading style, then you have accurate results with your reading style. And that's the only thing that fucking matters, alright? So fuck the haters. Alright, next one here. This one I got on my YouTube channel, and this one was odd. This one was really, really odd. So, this person I thought was telling me about a dream they had. It says, seems how you read books. Do you know anything why I was a snake and turned into a falcon? I jumped off a cliff, then turned into a white horse. I then returned as a human. So, like I said, I thought that was some dream interpretation, because that's not a lot of info to go off of, okay? I even said, look, I don't do dream interpretation. That's not my strong point. I don't have a lot of dreams, and really, dream interpretation is specific to the individual, which is why you yourself should always read your dreams, because you should know you better than anyone else. So if I dream about a velociraptor, alright, I'm a huge dinosaur kind of nut. If I dream about a velociraptor, that may be a bad thing or it may be a good thing. If I'm the only one that can determine that, right? For some person who sees a velociraptor, oh no, they're being chased through the woods by some unknown fear that they have or whatever. That could be an interpretation. My interpretation when I dreamed about a velociraptor, I was getting a hug from it, okay? So it's a positive thing. It's something that I'm passionate about, and that manifested in my dream. So that's why I don't do dream interpretations for other people. If you guys want to learn about that, then you actually have to program your own mind about like what symbols mean. And we kind of did this a little bit with our language and writing. You really have to have a clear understanding of your own mind and what things mean to you, okay? So I said that. I told him, like, look, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't do dream interpretation. And then they're like, oh, it wasn't a dream, it was a vision. And let me see if I can pull that up for you. Okay, here it is. Then their reply was, it wasn't a dream and not my vision alone, and certainly a lot to do with comedics, since what happened to me is all through Egypt scripture, that is Kundalini, where the serpent meets the falcon. You cross over from the physical, even though it's more of a vision. Okay. That's when I got angry. not really angry, more of like, how fucking dare you claim some shit that isn't Egyptian as if it was. Like, get the goddamn facts straight. If you're gonna be claiming to have visions and stuff, at least you gotta be accurate, okay? And that kind of ties into our next post I'm gonna show you. But let's go ahead and finish with this one. Alright, so I'm just so flabbergasted with this one. I really am. I Alright, so like I said, Kundalini is not Egyptian. And my reply to this person was not kind. I will admit that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you. So you had a daydream that matches some story of Egypt. Do you know about this story before you had the vision? If so, then it's probably some chemical imbalance in your brain that caused you to hallucinate. Yeah, it is a hallucination if no one around you saw this either. You could, of course, be lying and claim to have some vision that someone else claimed to have, but I'm not gonna accuse you of that as I have no evidence for either to be true. What about your vision should I find relevant? You had a vision. Okay. And I care why? Are you seeking validation for your claim? What was your purpose of telling me about some hallucination? By the way, Kundalini is Hindi, not Egyptian. Your assertion that it is Egyptian kind of kills your argument, as a divine god who is all-knowing wouldn't give you false info if they loved you and were real. It just goes to show that this is from your own flawed human imagination, in my opinion. And then, of course, they deleted their comment because I was ruthless, I guess. Don't fucking come at me like that. I will poo-poo on your WooWoo. You comedic gangsters out there, you know that about me. Alright, so the next one that I want to talk about, here it is. So this one was posted in a Egyptian pagan group that I was in. And they had asked about, what do you guys think about reincarnation and Egypt? And this was their little statement. My earliest memories was Egypt. The year was approximately 830 AD. A cult of old god worshippers hunted to death. I was buried in a temple. I remember waiting for my feather to be weighed. I remember many of my past lives, but my earliest thought, I guess that's through, though. But my earliest, though, of Egypt is not as ancient as many others say. Oh, okay, so that's what they were saying. I guess I'm just a little tired. Sorry, guys, I just woke up. Though reincarnation is not comedic, I learned that there are things that exist out of our beliefs and learning that belong elsewhere that cannot be explained by any faith. That being said, I'm big on evidence. I've proven mine, or I'm at least satisfied with who I was. If someone came to claim anything, even being in World War I want something I could solidly prove, even anecdotal evidence. Okay, so, there's a lot of things wrong with this. Number one, the person is claiming that they lived in approximately 830 AD. In Egypt. Okay, well, during that time, there was a war going on between the Coptic Church and some other group, and it had to do with taxes. Instead, what this person has claimed, you could literally Google this, guys, 830 AD Egypt. Instead of claiming something to be historically accurate to that time period, they went with some bullshit about being in a cult of old god worshippers. By the year 830 AD, no one worshipped the old gods. There were no old gods at all. You went from pagan of Egypt to Greek pagan to Christian to Muslim, okay? Once they transitioned out of Egyptian pagan and Greek pagan, it turned into a monotheistic religion. There were no old god worshippers then. All right? They just got wiped out way before then. So, the next thing it says is they were buried in a temple, and they were waiting for their feather to be weighed. I don't know if any temples were even still open at that time. I don't think they were. But waiting for your feather to be weighed? Ooh, God. Every Egyptian pagan knows that it's your heart that's weighed, not your feather. The feather comes from Ma'at. So that is a very simple fact that they got very wrong. Another thing that they claimed is that reincarnation is not Egyptian or Kemetic, but it is. It's totally Kemetic, and they're, let's see here. Here it is. Okay. King Amenemhat the First, His name translates as he who repeats birth. King Seteki, the first from the 19th dynasty, one of his names is repeater of births. And then you have Senuseret the first, whose name translates as he who births live. So you do have reincarnation in ancient Egypt. I just find it hilarious that they want to say that they've proven their claim here, but they've got nothing right about the time period, 830 AD. They got nothing right about the reincarnation of getting your heart weighed. They got nothing right about reincarnation being actually Egyptian. And then they claimed that they're big on evidence. Well, so am I, and all you've got are claims. You literally only have claims. You wouldn't believe somebody if they said they were in World War I, but you want to claim that you were a fucking priest in ancient Egypt 1,000 years ago? Are you kidding me? Fuck you. I will poo-poo on your woo-woo. I swear to God I will. So, yeah, that's all I'm saying. If you're gonna make, claims, guys, at least be accurate. Don't shoot yourself in the foot with some bullshit lies. I'm gonna catch it, especially about ancient Egypt. I am so passionate about ancient Egypt that when people go and claim things that are inaccurate, it really irritates me. It really does. Just like this dude over here with his Kundalini bullshit, alright? It's not Egyptian. Stop claiming it as such. Now, this person here, hilariously enough, the Kundalini dude, deleted his comment. I guess he didn't like the fact that I called out his bullshit. Look, just don't come at me if you ain't gonna like it, alright? Don't ask my opinion if you don't want it. It's gonna fuck you up sometimes. That's it for tonight, guys. Sun up day.